Yo, what's up, YouTube? SaiyZ3 here. Here to give my thoughts on Dragon Ball Super so far, episodes 1 through I think it's 14 or 15, 14. Yeah, so I just finished watching well, actually, I didn't just finish watching the 14th episode, but I finally have time now to do my thoughts on the whole Battle of Gods arc in Dragon Ball Super, what I liked, what I didn't like, my general opinion about it, whatever. And so, I guess just to give like a general statement, I'm pretty sure I prefer this version of Super to the film, uh, for not for a lot of reasons, but I just think that the Super did took like certain scenes and made them better. So I don't know where to start off with this, but I guess I can. Okay. I guess like what I can tell is like I'm. If you don't know, now you know. Super is basically, or the first 14 episodes basically retells the film that came out in 2013. But in my opinion, it tells it a little better. Okay, and one of the reasons why I feel like that's the case is because um, I just think that the flow of the story is much more better in those episodes. Things are easier to follow. Things make more sense. Things are, I think, explained and shown better. Things are made more dramatic. Some of the unnecessary fluff that was in the film is taken out. A bunch of reasons, but I guess I can start with like episode one, and I'll just go through the episode one by one. And I'm not gonna try and make this too long. At least I hope it doesn't end up being too long. But yeah, with episode one, I mean, basically it's good, just slice of, well, I don't want to say slice of life stuff, but it's getting introduced into the lives of all the characters, episodes one and two, and basically, the only problem that I had with episode one was the whole snake part, but I guess that was just like that's just like so Toei kitty stuff, like I'm pretty sure like that was just introduced for the sake of like kids, that whole part with the snake. And so right off the bat, like I think people I think are assuming that Toriyama wrote like every single episode in the series. I'm 99.9% sure that was not the case. If anything, it was just a very stable framework for what the series would be like, and he just gave it to Toei, and Toei's just sort of like fleshing out the details on some of the details out on their own, right? So, yeah, I liked episode one. I liked episode. I pretty much liked all the first four episodes. I don't think I can't remember any problem that I had with it except maybe like I said that snake part. If I bring up my one sec, let me bring up my little notepad thing over here because I actually was taking like notes over each episode. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So here we go. Yeah. So episode one, I only had a problem with the snake stuff. Episode two, I think people were was were what's the word I'm looking for? In episode two, Vegeta was like straining himself under 150 times Earth's gravity, and if you guys don't remember, uh, after the Namek arc, Vegeta actually goes into 300 times Earth's gravity, and that's what enables him to transform into, or helps him to transform into a Super Saiyan. And that's what happens when he fights Android 19. We see like, oh, he's a Super Saiyan now, even stronger than Goku. So when people were like, and I was one of those people who were like, oh, like why is he straining under 150 times Earth's gravity now? Oh, why is Goku going and just on 10 times Earth's gravity and training with weights? But that stuff didn't really like matter that much to me. I don't really care like about those. I care about it, but I don't care that much about it. I didn't think like it was like some super like new training method that they were going to use to get even stronger or whatever. I just looked at the King Kai planet stuff, and the 150 times Earth's gravity stuff is just I don't those methods of training were different than say when Goku was training with Piccolo and Gohan after he came back from Yardrat for 19 and Jiro. It's different than when Vegeta was training with Trunks in the hyperbolic time chamber. This was more like, if I were just to like make a new term, warm up training. If you guys know what I mean, if you guys understand, I can't really explain it better than that. But it would I don't take those sequences as like hardcore training. It's more just like warming the body up, if you will. And shout out to Ivan in the J Room. He made the point that Vegeta probably hadn't undergone 150 times Earth's gravity in a while, so maybe he was just getting used to it again. So yeah, I could buy that explanation. So that was all cool. Um, Episode four with the one with Emperor Pilaf. I don't know where Pilaf got the dragon radar from. It was under my. Did he have? I don't remember in Dragon Ball if after the Red Ribbon Army arc he retained the Dragon Radar or if he made his own or whatever. Because I remember when Goku went to Penguin Village, the people from Doctor Slump, I forget their names, the babies, Gachan I think their name was. They ended up making a Dragon Radar of their own for Goku, but I don't remember if there's more than one. Um, of course, Bulma has made various iterations of the Dragon Radar over the years, but I don't remember if there was like explicitly like more than one Dragon Radar at a time. So I don't know where Pilaf got the Dragon Radar from, but whatever. That's it's not like some super important plot point. I can gloss and look over that. I don't think that detracts from the story whatsoever. But I liked that episode. Like I said, I liked the first 5 episodes, and episode 5 is obviously the one with bad animation. But even with that bad animation, like that the part where Super Saiyan 3 Goku was punching Beerus and the grass was burning off the planet, that was pretty cool. Like honestly, like all the major parts from the film that were put in were put in Super, I thought were just done better in Super. Super Saiyan 3 Goku versus Beerus was better to me because of things like the punch burning the grass off of the planet, like things like Goku instinctively like drawing himself back from attacking Beerus because he could realize that Beerus was going to attack at one point. Things like the Kamehameha, like the Spirit Gun esque Kamehameha, the one that was just like a ball that hit Beerus and Beerus just blocked it with the finger, like things like that. And even the way Beerus beat Goku, like the one just like pressing his shoulder, and like the colors, the inverted colors, like things like that, I thought just made that fight better in Super. And I also appreciated the fact that when he went from Super Saiyan to Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 2 finally got some shine in 2015, and he looked pretty badass. Now I understand like why people like Super Saiyan 2 the most when it comes to the look, because of the one bang, or in Goku's case the one bang and the two bangs on the side. But just all the major plot point, just to cut it short, all the major plot points in Battle of Gods that were introduced in Super, I thought were just done better. The fights, even Vegeta's characterization when he was like trying to stop Beerus from getting mad, when he explains like what Goku is to him, to Beerus, like we're rivals, and then Beerus is like rivals, and it's kind of true because I think many people make the I guess I don't want to say the incorrect assumption, but the sort of idea they had this idea that Goku and Vegeta's relationship is like some core part of the Dragon Ball series, when in reality they don't have much of a relationship until the end of the Buu arc when the Potara comes into play. It's not really even that much of a rivalry when you think about it, because first of all, Goku's he's not preoccupied with Vegeta during the Namek arc. Of course, he wants Vegeta to live because he wants a rematch from him. But after that, like even during the Androids arc, Vegeta gets stronger than him as a Super Saiyan. Then Vegeta one-ups him again when he becomes Super Vegeta. And then once Goku and Gohan come out of the hyperbolic time chamber, the room of spirit and time, from there until the end of the manga, it's pretty much always all in Goku's favor. And so the quote unquote rivalry is never that competitive. And so I kind of like the idea that Beerus and Vegeta, I guess indirectly, addressed that. And so that's what I think is going to help, like when we get into the Resurrection F and then the stuff with Universe 6, that's where I think that we're going to get like a more competitive rivalry between Vegeta and Goku. And so and I thought that was good for Vegeta's characterization. And then the shot, I think it was episode 6, where Vegeta punches the wall and he's like looking at himself and he's like, oh man, like I've always fit, like he's just thinking to himself like, uh, uh, sorry, I'm just trying to think of the correct words. It's like what was it like again? Damn, now I just forgot. He punches the wall and then he looks at his fist. He goes like, damn, I can't even remember the dialogue. Damn it. But okay, I can't remember the dialogue, but that part in the episode, I thought was one of my favorite moments, pretty much in those entire 14 episodes, because I thought it characterized Vegeta pretty well. So that was something that I liked. And then, even like even the other people like fighting Beerus before Goku gets there, I thought was done much better. Especially Vegeta versus Beerus was definitely better in Super. Are you kidding me? The Super Saiyan transformation was way better in Super than it ever was in Battle of Gods. Okay, and one of the complaints that I had with that moment in Battle of Gods was that Bulma got slapped, and then after Vegeta loses, right? Um, Bulma is then just like she's shown to be just fine as she's running toward Vegeta, right? Over here, it actually shows that she got hurt. Like she feels the effects of that, and then Vegeta just does like a better Super Saiyan two Super Saiyan two because he had the lightning transformation, and so like the face that he makes when he transformed, the zoom in on the eye, the gritting teeth, all of that stuff I thought was way better in Super than it was in Battle of God. So like the one moment I think that many people enjoyed the most, where Vegeta was fighting Beerus, that was done better in Super. To me, I think it's quite obvious. I know some people might disagree, but I thought it was pretty obvious. Um, the Gallic Gun, especially Vegeta realizing that he didn't actually hurt Beerus, those things I thought just made Vegeta like that much more better than his Battle of Gods counterpart. I do miss Bingo Vegeta, but I did like Chef Vegeta, the octopus stuff, the takoyaki. I listen. I know people have things against not making their characters badass anymore, but I love that, dude. Like I will make that my YouTube avatar because, dude, Chef Vegeta's GOAT. Okay, if you guys don't know what that means, greatest of all time, GOAT, and okay, now I'm just going into like J Room terminology, but Chef Vegeta is GOAT. Okay, that was incredible. That was amazing, and even Goku's introduction, like when Beerus is going to blow up the planet, and Goku comes and arrives to stop him. That introduction was done so much more better in Super than Battle Gods, because in Battle Gods Goku just flies in out of nowhere, and then he's like walking like through like this heroic in this heroic phase, and like in the film, like the crowd or like the gang like separates into two like directions, and everyone's like looking at him, and he's like, oh my god, it's Goku, it's Goku. Ah! Like they're just like going like nuts over him, like super like that was one moment that just sort of like I was like, what the fuck is going on? And so I'm glad like Super rewrote that, because I like the fact that Goku was kind of like stumbling across the ship, and then he landed on his feet, and then he was like, happy birthday, Bulma, and he was like, that's not the time to say that right now. That was I thought that was much more better. And I think the idea I Goku was showing some intelligence also by having saying like, we'll use Shenron to find out what Super Saiyan God is, right? And I thought, I think this, oh damn, sorry, I think Super like I think many people were like confused over the whole Shenron with the Dragon Balls and like why he dispersed. I'm pretty sure like now in Super, I'm pretty sure like now in Super, it was made clear like that was a wish, so that's why the Dragon Balls dispersed. So that was made much more clearer than what happened in Dragon Ball Super, right? Or in Battle of Gods, excuse me. And so once that happens, and I noticed at this point all the middle fluff with Emperor Pilaf and the romance between Trunks and Mai is gone. And I don't know if I missed the Trunks and Mai romance, because on one hand, Trunks, like a 41-year-old, I think, or however old she is, like getting demoted to like a 12-year-old, and Trunks being, I think, 13 or 12 himself, and making that a romance is like so Toriyama-esque, but at the same time, it's like very weird, kind of almost like pedophilic a little bit. So in the case of Mai, so I'm kind of glad like that was removed, but at the same time, like I'm a little disheartened that it was. I don't know, I'm confused on my feelings on that, but I am glad like the entire middle portion with all that fluff is like completely removed. Gohan and like deflecting the bullets and harming Videl, and then Dende going and healing her. That moment was just like, ugh, like I wanted to vomit, because it was just like, ugh, really. And yeah, I'm just glad like that. The main reason why I prefer Super over Battle Gods was pretty much like not only the main fluff was gone, like all that filler esque feeling stuff, but um, the fight with Goku and Beerus I thought was done much better in Super than in Battle Gods. I'll go into that like in a little bit, but one thing I did want to notice was that Dende could sense Beerus's ki, which I thought that was kind of like a little weird. Like Dende, like now that, because Dende just became a god, like he just became kind of like we didn't see any process to him becoming like there was no like ritual or ceremony. All he had to do was just like I don't think he even changed his clothing, did he? Yeah, he's still wearing the same stuff that he had on Namek. Now that I think about it, so he didn't even become. Did Dende had yeah, Dende had the cape at the beginning of the Buu arc in the anime, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember if he still had that cape in the manga. I don't think he did. Yeah, no, I don't think he did. Okay, anyway, forget it. Anyway, um, but yeah, I just thought it was like now Dende has Godly Key and he can sense Beerus's Ki. I always thought that was weird. Some of the other stuff that I enjoyed was like in episode 2, like where we got introduced to like the dinosaur meat and the black cherry sauce is the best in Universe 7. Like just small trivial like little wacky stuff like that I enjoyed. And I thought the Super Saiyan God transformation was done much better in Dragon Ball Super than it was in Battle of Gods. Um, the holding the hands thing, I mean, at least one of them is not holding hands, which I think makes it a little better. The transformation was just more epic in general, like with the changing weather and the universe hole opening. Um, it was dragged out, and the pacing is admittedly like one of the problems of Super, but I just thought like the transformation was much more dramatic and that much more better in Super than it was in Battle of Gods. Um, what else did I enjoy? I also enjoyed like Beerus's new powers, like his Konko, his Reiatsu, if you will. Like he so much as like flexes his muscles and like spiritual pressure comes and it makes like people collapse. Like Vegeta, like I think like he was running at Beerus and then he like falls on his face or something like that. I thought that was better. I thought that was a cool new power to like introduce. I like Beerus's like little hacky sack thing that he used in like episode 11 or 12 or whatever. His little hacky sack attack. I like the fact that Goku. There's this one. It was like short, like 2 or 3 seconds, but it was in episode 11, if I'm not mistaken, where Goku's flying up into the air, and he hasn't fought Beerus. He's about to fight Beerus as a Super Saiyan God, and there's just like a small little like smile on his face, and to me like that like it's just like 1 or 2 seconds like of him just a close up on his face as like he's flying into the air, but like to me like I thought that spoke like a lot of volumes about like what he was feeling at the time, like the freedom, the newfound power, the happiness, if you will. I like getting this strong and like what he and how excited he was to use it. I thought like that was something that was good, and I would like more stuff like that in Super because we didn't get any of that in Dragon Ball Battle of Gods, Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods. So small things like that, small details like that, I thought helped the story to flow better. Goku getting in like used to the power. I think when he first tried to like punch Beerus, like he punches like so fast and hard that he has trouble from stopping him. Like he has trouble stopping himself from like the momentum of the attack. So things like that I thought helped make the story flow better. Um, I thought there could have been some moments that could have been explained better. Like I think in episode 12, the ship, Bulma's ship, is going to fall into Mr. Satan, and you know Mr. Satan's voice like when that's happening is hilarious. It's like so, because if you guys don't know, Unsho Ishizuka voices Mr. Satan now because Daisuke Gori committed suicide, R.I.P. in 2010, and Unsho Ishizuka voices Joseph in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 2. Or Part 3, excuse me, not Part 2. Part 2, it's Sugita, also Gintoki, but in Part 3, and so, like, that voice, like, like, Mr. Satan was making that sound while the ship was falling down, and I was dying, but then we saves him. But at the same time, like, that was funny, but I'm just thinking, like, why didn't Piccolo just fly out of the ship and stop it from falling, you know? And obviously Gohan and Goten couldn't do it because they were drained from the Super Saiyan God ritual, right? And they had exhausted their ki, if you will. Speaking about that, I thought Super Saiyan Videl, I don't know what to think of that. Like, it's okay, whatever. Like, I'm not like that. It doesn't bother me, but I still would have preferred like if a fetus was not used, and because this is a Saiyan God ritual, I would have preferred if the method to attain that form was a little more like brutal. Like I was always thinking like maybe he has to drink like the blood of like forced Super Saiyans or something. I don't know, something like brutal like that because it's Saiyans, you know. Like it should be a lot more like violent, you know, because it's the Saiyans. The Saiyans are like a violent race of people. They're mass murderers. So, but I guess like that's kind of the joke because he's making it like not violent and it's God, so it's supposed to be like pure hearted or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, Um, but yeah, I just think like the story flow of and some of the things that are explained, like Goku getting used to the power, Vegeta versus Beerus, the fight beforehand, the removal of the fluff, just made the super version of those events better. Now, are there some things that I do miss from the film? Of course, I do miss Pilaf looking at Goten and remembering Goku as a kid with the Zaru, or remembering Goku as a Zaru destroying his palace. I miss that. I miss it was only like 2 or 3 seconds in the film, but that little clip of Beerus breakdancing in the middle with everyone, I missed that. I thought that was a pretty cool little scene. And I also missed the characterization with Goku that we got when he was like when he was like it's not a realm of power that I can reach on my own when he gets Super Saiyan God, and that he had to rely on others. But I thought that characterization was balanced with the fact that we learned more about Goku in episode 4. In episode 4 we learned that Goku really isn't much of a party goer, that he likes to kind of like be by himself. In episode, I think 10 or 11, when Goku's acting like a little more mischievous, he chops Beerus' neck and then flicks him in the forehead, and then Beerus makes note of the fact that Goku can hold a grudge. And even in episode, I think, yeah, 14 or 12, yeah, it's 12, when Goku's pretending to play along with Beerus' joke where he can't find him, and then Beerus tries to play the same trick on him again, and Beerus blocks it. Or Goku blocks it, excuse me. And he's like, the same trick won't work on me twice. Like, things like that I thought helped to explore I thought things like that explored Goku's character a little bit more, and maybe even a little bit better than what we got in the film. Or, yeah, in the film. And, what else do I have to say? The face shots, the close ups on people's bodies, the actual showing of moves, the martial arts stuff, I thought was better in as well, more so for well, even for Vegeta versus Beerus, but for Goku versus Beerus especially, I thought it like we could actually see what was going on in when they were fighting. So, and here's the thing about the animation between the two. I would probably say that the animation, well, yeah, I, I guess the animation in Battle of Gods was more fluid than what we got in Super, but the animation in Battle of Gods wasn't anything spectacular, except for that one scene that was animated by Naotoshi Shida, the one where Goku was going like through the rocks, and then Beerus was chasing after him. Once that happened, and you see like that even that's a moment like, why did Goku transform into a Super Saiyan and not like a Super Saiyan 2 or 3 to fight Beerus at the time? Anyway, but and I liked it when in Battle of Gods, like when he demoted himself to Super Saiyan, like that was a little more like natural, I guess. He didn't go to base and then to Super Saiyan. I thought like the fact that he just went straight to Super Saiyan, I thought better. But yeah, like the animation of the film wasn't like that much more better than anything that we got in Super. Like Super still had some good animated scenes. I mean, of course, people are gonna say like, "Oh, episode 5 was like shit," but if you watch the first 4 episodes of Super, everyone looks on model. There's no like that. The animation isn't anything spectacular. It's not like Madhouse level with like what they're doing with One Punch Man, or like the Kakashi versus Obito stuff that we got in Naruto, but it's good. Like it's solid animation. Like you wouldn't believe like that's what Toei was making if you were watching like, I don't know, like maybe like a bad like One Piece, or a bad One Piece or Toriko episode. But the animation honestly wasn't like the film's animation wasn't like so far and ahead of Super's. Like that's what I think people were like over exaggerating that, especially because Tadayoshi Yamamuro was the animation director for the film, and he's not that great now. Especially in 2015, what he did, like some of the stuff that he made for Resurrection F, like or Fukatsu no F, like some of the stuff is like the motions of the characters are just like so stiff and not fluid, and it's so slow too. And another problem that I had with Battle of Gods animation was like there was a lot of CGI, and you couldn't see what was going on. You can't tell me like when you were watching that part where Goku and Beerus were fighting in the clouds in Battle of Gods. The only parts that you can tell what happened was when Goku and Beerus like went in circles while holding hands. That sounds gay as fuck, but when that happened, and then when Goku punched, or when Goku, well, I'd have to be more specific, but they're like towards the beginning of that whole crazy scene where Goku kicks Beerus, but everything else, like, you could not tell like what was happening. And that was one of the problems that I had, even with the Super Saiyan God. I could not tell what was happening with Goku versus Beerus when they were fighting in the city. I just couldn't, especially when they were like flying around. So that was one. That was something that I appreciated more now in Super than I did in Battle of Gods. I could actually like see what was happening. There was no CGI. There was new moves added. So those things I thought definitely made the Super's version of the fight, even though it was dragged, it dragged on for maybe longer than it should have. It made that fight better than what we got in the film, at least in my opinion. And even the moment where like Beerus like stabbed Goku, I for a second I thought he had died, but then that was just me like getting like all hyped and shit. I was like, what the fuck? But like all those moments, I thought like the story was just flowed better and was explained better in Super than it ever could be in Battle of Gods, and that was things like Goku getting used to the power, and Vegeta explaining the relationship between he and Goku to Beerus, like things like that. I thought were really important. Even small things like when Goku or Goten and Trunks were having the water gun battle, and then Goten does the flip, and when he tries to like find him, things like that I thought were much more better. I appreciate the diminished Pilaf role, even though I don't really like Pilaf. I prefer King Kai or Kaio, but and his punny jokes. Ha ha ha! You see what I did there? But things like that I appreciated more, like the liberties that they took, and so even Vegeta, like even in the latest episode, Vegeta catching Goku after he lost, like things like that. I thought just give the show and the characters like more flavor. So yeah, I mean, I definitely do recommend, if you haven't watched Battle of Gods, I would recommend watching Super instead. Um, and yeah, that's all. I think that's all I have to say. I'm gonna do my Resurrection F review for the sub. Hopefully that won't be as long in my next video, which I'm gonna record right after this. So, but I guess I'll do the same thing for Resurrection F once that finishes in Super, another video like this. But thank you guys for watching. 27 minutes, maybe a little longer than I expected, but I think I did all right. Thank you guys for watching, and look out for my next video. And yeah, I'll see you guys there hopefully. Peace.